Creeping Death is one of Metallica's most iconic songs, first released in 1984 as the opening track of the B-side on their second album, Ride the Lightning. Recorded at Sweet Silence Studios in Copenhagen, Denmark, with producer Flemming Rasmussen, the track is a thunderous display of how tight rhythm guitar, precise tone, and aggressive arrangement can drive a metal song into legendary status. From its opening bars, Creeping Death sets the tone with a crushing, galloping riff in E minor that perfectly captures the band's evolving blend of thrash, speed, and traditional metal. The main riff, written primarily by James Hetfield, is built around fast, palm-muted 16th note alternate picking with open low E string pedal tones and shifting power chords. It's simple in structure but brutally effective in execution, a perfect example of how Hetfield's right-hand precision and rhythmic control defined Metallica's early sound. The gallop and accented rhythm of one short and the quick notes became a signature element of Metallica's style and is executed here with almost machine-like tightness. Technically, the riff revolves around the E5 power chord, with chromatic movements that build tension and aggression. It's not about complexity, it's about momentum, and Hetfield's playing style brings a percussive quality that almost functions like a second rhythm section. His picking is so locked in with Lars Ulrich's drumming that the guitar feels like an extension of the kick and snare. During the recording of Ride the Lightning, Metallica used a mix of Marshall and Mesa Boogie amplification, though it was Mesa Boogie Mark ISC Plus heads that delivered the main guitar tone on Creeping Death. These amps offer tight low end, aggressive mid-range punch. and high-gain clarity without the fizz of distortion pedals, which Metallica rarely used. The guitar signal was most likely boosted with an overdrive pedal, such as the Ibanez Tube Screamer, placed in front of the amp to tighten up the response, but not used for distortion. Mixed with a Shure SM57, the tone is mid-heavy, dry, and focused, no frills, just attack and clarity. James Hetfield played his white Gibson Explorer nicknamed E.T., loaded with the MG81 pickups, though at the time of Ride the Lightning, he was still using passive pickups before switching to EMGs during the Master of Puppets era. His strings were tuned to standard EADGB, and he used heavy gauge strings to maintain tension and tightness, particularly under his aggressive down-picking technique, which is arguably the most critical part of the creeping death tone. While many players alternate pick for speed, Hetfield uses strict down-picking, giving every note more weight and consistency. The rhythm tone is dry and raw, no chorus, reverb, or delay muddying the tone. It's an unpolished, in-your-face sound that reflects the band's minimalist philosophy at the time. Let the riffs speak for themselves. Kirk Hammett's lead tone, when it comes in later in the song, is slightly more saturated and scoop, often using a wah pedal for phrasing, particularly in the outro solo, but the spotlight throughout Creeping Death stays on Hetfield's relentless rhythm guitar. Lyrically inspired by the biblical story of the Exodus, the song's theme of wrath and liberation is perfectly mirrored by the intensity of the music. But it's not just the lyrics or tempo that give Creeping Death its power, it's the precision of the riff, the dry tightness of the tone, and the discipline and execution that make it one of the most revered tracks in Metallica's catalog. More than for decades later, Creeping Death remains a staple in Metallica's live shows and a benchmark for rhythm guitarists worldwide. Played in E minor, through a Mesa Boogie Mark ISC+, tracked with an SM57, and powered by down-picking discipline and raw amplifier tone, it stands as one of the greatest rhythm guitar tracks in metal history. Now subscribe to stay tuned in the Lick Guitar Lab channel. Thanks y'all.